Hey there everyone, how's it going? So, last weekend I picked up the La-5 while it was on sale, and I'm glad I did because this aircraft has quickly become my favorite of the Russian Air Force's offerings in Battle of Stalingrad due to its high speed and good acceleration, and especially good dive performance versus aircraft like the Yak-1. I've actually ripped my ailerons off in the Yak-1 at least once, maybe more. um, but yeah, that's not something I particularly enjoy doing, and if you know me, then you probably know that I enjoy aircraft that have good dive performance. Given the fact that the La-5's airframe is basically a modified La-3 with a much more powerful radial engine, it has some nice weight to it, which means the acceleration going downhill is very nice, and the straight line acceleration isn't too shabby either. Unfortunately, that means that the La-5 is not the best turning aircraft, and in fact it bleeds speed very quickly in tight turns. The roll rate is actually quite good in the La-5. Probably not quite as good as the 190, but it's close at least. And that's just going by feeling, I don't have any hard evidence here. Like the rest of the Russian aircraft, and unlike its German contemporaries, the La-5 has absolutely no automation present when it comes to engine management, so you have to manage the RPMs, the radiators, the fuel mixture, and the supercharger all on your own, which is a much higher workload than you have in a German aircraft, where you just have to pay attention to the throttle basically. So, flying the La-5 can be slightly challenging at times, especially if you're ascending and descending a lot, and you want to get the maximum performance out of your engine. Here we're basically just following a friendly which engaged the 109 that bounced me earlier. I'm making sure that no more Germans come and interfere with the fight. And under my right wing we can see a 190 appear, trying to do exactly that. So we're going to fireball the throttle and use the La-5's pretty decent dive acceleration to give chase. Now, this was actually my first multiplayer sortie in the La-5. I'd previously taken it into single player to get all of the unlocks done, so I'm using the flat windscreen and the unlocked ammo belts with all HE rounds. And as you can see, we're pretty quickly closing the gap between the 190 and ourselves, and as I'm lining up for a quick burst at long range, the 190 actually takes a hit and starts smoking. Now, I end up looking around here trying to see if there's a friendly closer to the 190 than I am, but no, it's a friendly shoulder shooting past me, which is not something I particularly enjoy, but I decide to move out of the way because I value my own safety above getting the kill most of the time. And the 109 from earlier comes and attacks the shoulder shooter, which means now the 190 is basically free to get away. So I switch targets to the 109, check behind me, and once again there's friendly bullets flying past my cockpit. And I'm kind of annoyed at this point, so I decide that since I'm closest to this 109 that I'm just going to stick with it, and if the friendlies want to shoulder shoot past me, well, they can go ahead and do it. I don't care at this point. I gave the 109 two short bursts from about medium to longish range. And the first burst hits in the left wing root and tears off some of the wing's skin. I put a hole in his left wing, and the second burst convinces the pilot to bail out. And as I'm turning around here, I see another aircraft following behind that's smoking, and it's the 190. I hesitate here before attacking because I'm not sure if he's actually going for a head-on with me or not. I don't really want to put myself into a position where he can get his guns on me, especially not when I'm in the advantage, as two aircraft in a head-on can point their guns at each other, and basically it evens out any advantage or disadvantage, so I try to avoid it as much as possible when I'm in an advantageous position. I was thinking about heading home here when an aircraft that I'm not entirely sure of the type at first bounces me here. I quickly identify it as a La-3, but the La-3's pilot takes a little longer to identify me and actually fires at me a few times and puts some holes into my right wingtip. I'm just trying to roll back and forth and show this guy the big red stars on my fuselage tail and undersides of the wings, and he eventually stops firing at me and pulls off, and even apologizes in chat, which is nice. But ultimately I decided to go home here, and on landing, I had never landed the La-5 before, and I didn't watch my speed too carefully. I was just going in by feel, and I just sort of fall out of the sky a little short of the runway. But it's okay, because it's a Russian plane and you can't break it. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll catch you next time. And until then, happy hunting.